So, in this series of lectures, I welcome you, the young, smart, and energetic people with a lot of potential and an urge to know and to interact. You are the inquiring minds, you are the inquisitive ones, and the topic that I take up is we are. When I say we, then I mean we, the Homo sapiens, the human beings, and the entire animal and plant kingdom that we have learned about, that is there, that helps us build up our life, etc., the environment, the atmosphere, and everything around us. We are because we were not stillborns. Stillborns are the one who are born dead. We were born and we were made to cry within moments of being born to be called a healthy child delivered in the system. I was born in the month of May 1947 in the British Empire. In India, of course. And you have been born, as I'm told that you come from class 6 to class 10, mostly CBSE or ICSE students who can understand English, who can interpret what I say, who have access to internet, and who can Google what I say, or Google other things which I don't say. So we are. Because we were born in a system. I was born in a village and in no hospital but in home. Delivered in home. My mother told me where is the place where I was born on 22nd May 1947. Most of you have not been born in your homes, but in very good hospitals, attended by learned doctors and the paramedical staff. Anyway, we are because we were born. The process has been the same all over, that various species, they have reproduction system, and then there is a survival that occurs. In some of the states in India, one child out of 10 children dies within the age of 0 to 1 years. Anyway, so we are. Okay. We are. And we live in the present. And the present has a lifespan of very small lifespan. Before we wish to call it present, the present goes into future, and that present goes in the past. So the time flows from past to future, going through a very, very, very tiny span of time which we call present. So, what I know today, what you will know tomorrow, I have been standing on the shoulders of giants, millions and millions of them before. Even Newton said that I am like a child near the ocean who is picking up pebbles, and I am standing on the shoulders of giants in the past, those who made him. So, we are, and when we are born, the time is noted, the date is noted, the day is noted, the year is noted, and these days there is a registration process, goes to the municipalities, and they put their in the name of the child is in the name of the mother initially. Later on we have namkarans, baptizations, etc. So that doesn't. So what is there? And why we are? I'll not answer the why. But how come we are there? So we have Janmapatris, okay, where we log several things about the time of the birth of the child. And that is called, created by learned people, called Janamapatri. I'm going to come back to that aspect, which is astrology. But I will tell you, just mention to you, that there are 4 fundamental forces in nature. The nature is very interesting. We are talking, when I'm talking about the nature, is the entire universe we are talking about. Some people say that from the time, you must talk from the time of the Big Bang and what happened thereafter. What the learned scientists think about. And how the argument is given, how counter argument is given, how we want to annul one theory after the other. And this is how science has gone. I talked to you about the electron in the previous lecture. Now I'm going to talk to you about that the whole universe as it stands today is made up of particles called atoms, which are not divisible as it is said, but they are. Okay, I'll not go into the details. But every atom has, as you know, has a nucleus, a very tiny nucleus, which is, if you consider it in the shape of a ball, then the radius of that ball is about 10 to the power minus 15 meters. Has particles called protons and neutrons. Protons are having a charge, if you know about charge, positive charge. Neutrons have no charge. And around this nucleus, there is a cloud of what we call electrons. And it is our belief that if there were an atom hydrogen, the simplest of the atoms. Trillions of years are trillions of days and hours and years away in the past. That structure of the atom, hydrogen atom, has remained as it is, which has got a single proton and a single electron. These are also fundamental particles. Okay. So they have not changed. And we consider that they will not change even if stars, where they are no more. They are eaten up by black holes, etc. So, what is it that the nucleus is in its place? There is a force which we call strong nuclear force. This is the strongest of all forces. Force means there are some influences. This force, strong nuclear force, is very short range force. And the range is the same, about 10 to the power of minus 15 meters, and that is within the confines of the nucleus. Those forces become zero at distances longer than that. Then there is a weak force, which is also confined to the nucleus. I am writing these forces in the order of their strength. So the strongest force is the strong nuclear, then electromagnetic. Okay, electromagnetic. I told you about rubbing things, okay, and production of electricity, etc. in the last lecture. These electromagnetic forces are also quite strong, stronger than the weak forces, and the weakest and the weakest and the weakest of all these fundamental forces of nature is gravitational. Gravitation. When I have this ball, and what happens? I let go the ball will fall towards the floor, and there is a sound also. Okay, and if I put the ball like this, if I put the ball like this, then this may go up, no matter. So things fall. You know, you have been falling since your childhood days. Things have been falling. It is a way of life. You understand it is there. Now, there are two words, one of which survived and the other has died when Latin language was dead. The language of science was Greek before, then Arabic, then Latin, then these European languages came up and other languages around the world. Gravity means anything which is bhari, and levity means anything which is very light. Levity, an example is that of a helium-filled balloon, which will, if you leave it, it will go up. Reasons are there. There is no force. It's also subjected to the force called gravity. Yet, there are other things. The atmosphere is there. The atoms are kicking like this, and there is an upthrust. Because of the upthrust, these balloons, they go up. So, the weakest force in the universe, it has shaped our lives. along with electromagnetic force. And the reason is that there are weak and strong nuclear forces which hold the atoms with their nucleus and electrons, etc., etc. So, that's why I'm saying they may go up to, for example, the helium-filled balloons, or balloons where the air has been heated. When the air is heated, then it expands. Its density becomes less. There is an upthrust and it will go up. Those balloons. Okay. Now I told you that we are, and we believe, not all of us, some of us, in what is known as astrology. Astrology, which says that at the time of my birth, such and such star, such and such planet, they were situated in such and such system, so they are going to influence our life. When we go to the astrologers, they will take out their logbook, they will make certain calculations and will tell about many things that we believe in. But there are people who are called rational people, who believe in questioning and obtaining answers, who are inquisitive people, who are inquiring minds, and they argue like this, that when the child was born, in that room, there may be a doctor, there may be a nurse, there may be a midwife, there may be the mother and the father, there may be many things which may be close to the child, and they should have the influence of those things also. How come the influence of far off stars and planets and groups of stars, etc., could influence the whole life of a person? So they are called rational people. The other kind of people, I can say, they are not rational. Okay, I will not call them irrational or emotional or any like that. So rational people laugh at whether we believe in the confines of what we call astrology. It is your choice, it is my choice, doesn't matter. But astrology has been of help to us in understanding the influence of. So astrology has been the beautiful set of principles, okay, which how they were obtained, we don't know. Okay, how they were thought of, I don't know. We don't know. But they are there. What I mean is the connection of astrology to the falling ball is very significant. Is important. This gave us an idea, came into our minds all by itself, that there is something called gravity, there is something called gravitation, etc. So, I will rather wind up making you inquisitive as to what is gravity. Gravity is, I just missed that, an invisible force. Here, force. An invisible entity which we call force. I'll have occasion to tell you what is force. You have the occasion to understand what is force. And in Newton's this thing, if you must have read about F is equal to ma. First law, which qualitatively describes force. Second law, which gives the quantitative description. And the third law, to every action there is equal opposite reaction, okay, which is least understood by us. Gravity, an invisible force with no detectable mechanism for exerting an influence. For exerting an influence. There is no means. How come the earth, which is 93 million miles away from the sun, goes round the sun? And the earth goes round the sun. This also took many thousand years to establish. But today you know that the earth goes round the sun. This, that. Okay. How many miles? 93 million miles away, which is 150 million kilometers away. In fact, the light which starts from the sun and comes to the earth, from sun to the earth, this takes around 500 seconds. 500 seconds to travel from the sun to the earth. And multiplied by c, multiplied by the speed of light, c, 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. And we obtain roughly this. And this is the weakest force. Keeps the earth going around the sun. This weakest force is responsible for the roots of the trees and the herbs, etc., going in the right direction. This is responsible for the eggs of the birds, okay, and many other things. I'll not go into those